Frank, the CCP's doctrine of unrestricted warfare, it really calls for dismantling societies through influence, subversion, deception. Are we already there right now?
Well, let me make a general point, if I may, and then come to that. Do I need to turn this on? How about that? Is that better? A general point. This is an absolutely stunning film. Stunning both because of the technical quality of it, the performances, and the story. It is hard to overstate the importance of it at this moment because, to your question, Steve, we are in an unrestricted war with the Chinese Communist Party. Indeed, we've been in it, I would argue, since the early 1990s. They finally sort of told us about it in 1999. And you touched on it, but I just want to impress upon this audience that they listed, I think, something like 20 different lines of attack that would be used to destroy the United States of America before China had the military power to do it the old-fashioned way. And actually, in keeping with Sun Tzu's, teachings, it's better to win without fighting. So if you can do all of this through various other means, great. But one of the items listed in that, agenda was biological warfare. They came right out and said it. It's fair game. And I wanted just to make the point, I think it was Joe who talked about this, but it's directly relevant today to the circumstance in which we find ourselves. The Chinese Communist Party is a signatory to the Biological Warfare Treaty, which prohibits any of the member states from having an offensive biological program. And yes, that is what they have. And yes, it is emblematic of what they do in every possible domain. And I mention that with particular emphasis because we are in the process, as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, of trying to have a new deal with the Chinese Communist Party, a new deal on tariffs at the moment. And who knows what all else. They will not honor that deal any more than they have honored the Biological Warfare Convention or any of the other myriad treaties, agreements, trade deals that they have entered into with us and others heretofore. It is impossible. So I just want to say again, for shining the light on the character, not of the Chinese people, but of this party that has misruled them and brutalized them and murdered them in unimaginable numbers. I've heard them bruited as 100 million. Chinese having been killed by the Chinese Communist Party. And that does not include the 400 million they boast of having murdered in utero, in the womb. And some say it may be another 100 million since they admitted to that. I just wanted to say, I pray, I know it is their purpose, and you didn't speak to the distribution challenges you have, and I hope we'll talk about that. Because the courage that this took to make the film and to star in it, and then to try to get it into theaters in Canada. And then, as I understand, didn't even bother trying to do it here because the theaters are owned by the Chinese Communist Party in large measure in our country. Part of the unrestricted warfare. Very literally. Anyway, just to conclude, I thank you for making this film, for doing it so beautifully, and for doing it at this moment when, I was going to say, for God's sake, but for our sake, we must awaken to the reality that these people are intent on our destruction. Again, the Chinese Communist Party. And they are well advanced in accomplishing it through unrestricted warfare. And preparing, by the way, now, with our help, and just last thought, Jan and I have talked about endlessly, with our money, thanks to Wall Street funneling it to the Chinese Communist Party, even its People's Liberation Army companies, they are now in a position to do it the old-fashioned way if they choose to. A shooting war, ladies and gentlemen. And the vast majority of us have no clue there's even a problem, let alone as great a one as there is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank. Sure. Jan, as a senior editor at the Epoch Times, a premier publication